Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Iceberg Visuals. I'm Yusuke and I enjoy flying some different types of drones such as standard drones like DJI and FPV drones for fun and business. Also, I have camera gimbal operating experience with DJI Inspire. So today, I want to share my thoughts on what I learned and realized to improve camera gimbal operating for DJI Inspire gimbal operators throughout my experience. Let's get started. Inspire 3 gimbal operating is basically to manipulate pan, tilt, roll, and some of iris shutter speed on the RC Plus controller. I know as an other option, DJI has a master wheel, but it costs almost 10K, so it's kind of unrealistic for most of the cases. So in this channel, I only talk about DJI RC Plus controller. Let's take a look at the gimbal settings. Inspire 3 is an aerial cinematography drone. So the RC Plus controller is the only gear that allows you to control, manipulate the camera gimbal for a operator. I've been using Inspire 2 for a year before Inspire 3 came out. And when I was using Inspire 2, I always tried to understand the major features of transmitter. This might sound like common sense, although you will look at the setting screen anyway when you use Inspire 3. Still, it's really important and helpful to memorize all the functions without thinking, because you need to focus on framing all the time during the flight. And this is what I learned from my Inspire 2 experience. So for the next step, I'd like to dig into the actual Inspire 3 gimbal sensitivity settings. Let's take a look at. There are 3 profiles to set your favorite sensitivities in the gimbal settings screen. As you can see, the major camera gimbal directions are pan, tilt, and roll. You can also adjust sensitivities while the drone is flying in the air. I change sensitivities depending on focal lengths, subject speeds, and drone movement. Each pan, tilt, and roll has 3 more precise settings for stick sensitivity. These are speed, start-stop smoothness, EXPO. The speed number indicates how quickly you can move the camera gimbal. It is also the only number that encourages an operator to feel an increase in the speed of the stick sensitivity feeling. As a dictionary explanation, the EXPO setting creates a non-linear relationship between your physical stick movements and the gimbal's reaction. A little dig into this definition and I add my understanding. It is a speed curve to reach the maximum speed from the home position. I'll show you guys a drawing to explain it. So when the stick is not moved, then stick is on the home position. But when you manipulate the camera gimbal, then stick is shifting. And at the moment, the speed curve, the speed starts from this home position to the speed that you set. And the gradual slope is called a speed curve. So the EXPO basically decides how gentle this slope is. That's the kind of simple explanation of the speed curve. My understanding of start-stop smoothness is to make a gradual start and stop the camera gimbal movements. If you set 0 for this setting, the camera gimbal will stop suddenly when you stop controlling the stick. Imagine it's like adding extra EXPO, which only applies to your gimbal sensitivity when you start and stop controlling the stick. These start-stop moments are really important for the camera gimbal control to make the footage look smooth and watchable. I want to make it clear the differences between EXPO and start-stop smoothness. The EXPO is a function for during stick shifting, and the start-stop smoothness only works when the operator starts to push the stick and is going to stop pushing the stick. I talk about sensitivities for real-life scenarios. I'll just start from the speed number 20 and adjust to an adequate speed to catch up with the subject. Additionally, the speed of the drone also affects the result. So if the drone speed is enough to catch up the subject, then the gimbal operator doesn't need to transmit the stick so much. On the other hand, if the subject is walking on the ground like pedestrians or moving slowly, even if it's vehicle, then the stick sensitivity is less than 20. From my experiences, a higher speed is required when the distance between the subject and the drone is closer and closer. I would set the numbers around 10 to 15. It could be less than the speed number, and more than 20 for the start-stop smoothness when I shot an objective subject. It's because the sticks themselves are going back to the home position every time. So the specification works as a sort of stopper for your finger feeling. Alright guys, here's my thoughts of gimbal sensitivities. In my opinion, a gimbal operator should understand how the gimbal sensitivity feature works for the camera gimbal movement. You should try 0 to 100 settings for real. Then you can eventually remember the feeling of your fingers when it's smooth gimbal movement. I have one thing that I realized while I have been operating, that I was putting too much EXP in my gimbal sensitivity setting. When I tried to capture the subject smoothly, I added almost 90 EXP for the smoothness. But I have been slightly feeling I need quicker response to fix the framing when tilting up to shoot a train. So I decreased a number and it worked well. So discovering the appropriate gimbal sensitivities and having multiple options help your performance at the work. Alright, that's enough for today. This is a first step in becoming a gimbal operator for aerial cinematography. The aerial camera gimbal operator is a whole other new world from the ordinary camera shooting style. So you need to know what you want to do to provide an amazing result and capture beautiful footage. Thanks for watching. See you soon.